Blood Message. The story unfolds in the arid and windswept lands of Hexi and Dunhuang, China, along the legendary Silk Road during the final years of the Tang Dynasty, an age teetering on the edge of collapse. You're not a general, nor a king. In this game, you play as an ordinary soldier driven by extraordinary resolve. As part of a rebellion in Dunhuang, the protagonists, a father and his child, must embark on a perilous 3,000-mile journey from Dunhuang to the imperial capital to deliver a message that could determine the fate of the entire nation. For centuries, the Tang Dynasty and the Tibetan Empire fought over the strategic Hexi corridor. But in the aftermath of the An Lushan Rebellion, 755 to 763, Tang control collapsed. The Tibetan Empire occupied Dunhuang for over 60 years, cutting it off from the Chinese heartland. Then, in 842, history shifted. The Tibetan Empire suddenly imploded after the assassination of its last emperor by a monk, plunging the empire into chaos. Seizing this moment, a local Han general, Zhang Yichao, led a revolt and reclaimed Dunhuang in 848, pledging allegiance to the faltering Tang Dynasty. Zhang Yichao's army became known as the Return to Righteousness Army. Under his leadership, the region was reclaimed in the name of the Tang Dynasty, and the imperial banners once again flew over the western frontier. Though the Tang court welcomed this revival, it lacked both the strength and reach to fully reassert control. As a result, the region emerged as a semi-autonomous regime, nominally loyal to the Tang, but effectively governed like an independent kingdom. Remarkably, this loyalist state endured well beyond the fall of the Tang Dynasty, surviving for over a century until it was ultimately absorbed by the Northern Song Dynasty. Blood Message is set in the wake of this uprising. After the victory, Zhang Yichao sought to inform the distant Tang court. However, chaos still gripped the roads, and sending high-ranking officials was both risky and politically delicate. Instead, he entrusted Buddhist monks with the mission. Of the 10 envoy groups dispatched to Chang'an, only one succeeded. Players likely assume the role of this final group, or its sole survivor. One such historical figure, featured in the game's trailer, appears to be Monk Wuzhen, a prominent Buddhist monk from Dunhuang. In 850, Wuzhen is said to have successfully delivered the news of Zhang Yichao's victory to the Tang court. He was closely associated with the Mogao Caves, a sacred complex of Buddhist grottos, temples, and murals that flourished in Dunhuang. In the trailer, one of these murals commemorating General Zhang Yichao's triumph is clearly visible, grounding the game's setting in real historical and spiritual context. The game's landscapes and ruins are heavily imbued with Buddhist symbolism, and this is no accident. Zhang Yichao's decision to send monks rather than ministers reflects the complex political climate of the time, particularly the Huichang Persecution of Buddhism, circa 845. In one of the Tang Dynasty's most destructive ideological campaigns, tens of thousands of monasteries were destroyed, monastic lands seized, and monks and nuns were forcibly returned to secular life. The persecution, while framed as an anti-foreign religious purge, was also driven by the need to appropriate wealth to fund military campaigns. This ideological conflict between political decay and spiritual survival is deeply woven into the game's atmosphere and themes. Although the English title is Blood Message, the original Chinese name is Return to Tang, a symbolic invocation of cultural and dynastic restoration amid civilizational collapse. The world has heard too many tales of emperors and generals. Blood Message honors the unsung heroes, those who carried the weight of empires in silence. Blood Message is poised to deliver a deeply textured experience, one that explores the loss, resilience, and ideological struggle of a fractured empire on the brink of twilight. The game is developed by 24 Entertainment using the Unreal Engine 5. This studio is known for its work on Naraka: Bladepoint, earning a solid reputation for high-quality animation and gameplay deeply rooted in the wuxia, martial arts fantasy. Judging by the cinematic sequences and the design-oriented scene layout in the trailer, it's likely that the game will feature a linear level design rather than an open world. Combined with the close interaction between the protagonist and his companions, it is speculated that the game may include a companion system similar to The Last of Us or God of War, where allies provide tactical support in combat or play a key role in puzzle-solving missions. We've seen the game getting a lot of marketing buzz in the past few days, with tons of gaming YouTubers reacting to it, which shows the devs are really investing in this project. Let's hope it turns out to be just as good as Black Myth Wukong. Wukong has probably opened the door for more Chinese folklore and fantasy titles to reach Western audiences. Pretty fitting for something inspired by Journey to the West, don't you think? Stay tuned for more.